Hello everyone, my name is Tessa. I'm using text-to-speech to explain what is on our screen right now. From the last experiment, part 2, we have changed the faulty LEDs to a new one, green to white. And first, we are going to check if the ChatGPT API could turn on all the LEDs attached to its component to make sure that all the LEDs are working. Since in this test, we haven't given the ChatGPT API any intermediary API or JSON, it takes a few failed attempts in the beginning. As you can see, in the video, all the LEDs are working perfectly. Now we can try and ask ChatGPT API to turn off the red LEDs. Sometimes, even without intermediary API or JSON, ChatGPT API is able to complete the task successfully, without any failed attempt in the beginning. Now, we are going to ask ChatGPT to make the white LEDs and the yellow LEDs blink. We want to see if ChatGPT API could complete the task without any detailed instructions. At first, the ChatGPT API failed to complete the task. But we are going to try again, now giving it detailed instruction, by adding 1 second between each LEDs to blink. ChatGPT API finally complete the task, making white and yellow LEDs blink. Now, we are just going to save all the code made by ChatGPT API to control the components for documentation purposes. Then we are checking the code produced by ChatGPT API to make the LEDs blink. We stop the program and run it again. And then we give ChatGPT API a new instruction to turn off the yellow LEDs. Despite making some failed attempts in the beginning, ChatGPT finally completed the instruction. Again, we are just going to save all the codes, including the failed attempts from ChatGPT API to complete the task, for documentations and to analyze later on. As we have mentioned in the previous video, when not given any intermediary API or JSON, making ChatGPT API to program itself and control its component might not be reliable or stable. ChatGPT API will need detailed instructions to help interpret or give it a full context of the instruction. In the next part of the video, we are giving ChatGPT API an intermediary JSON file. In the JSON file, we are putting the GPIO number and the color of the LEDs to help ChatGPT API complete the task and better interpret the instruction. Having a JSON file helps us to give less detailed instruction as well. For example, we can just tell ChatGPT API to turn on red LEDs, instead of telling it which pins the LEDs is attached to. In the main Python program, we include a function to read the JSON file. Now, we are running the program and start the test. We give ChatGPT API instruction to turn on the white and yellow LEDs, without telling it which GPIO pins the LEDs are attached to. It only takes 2 failed attempts for the ChatGPT to complete the task. We ask ChatGPT API to turn on the red LEDs and turn off the white LEDs. We want to see if it could complete the task without turning off the yellow LEDs. ChatGPT can complete the task of turning on the red LEDs and turning off the white LEDs, but it's also turning off the yellow LEDs. Now we ask ChatGPT to simply turn off all the LEDs. ChatGPT can successfully complete the task without too many failed attempts like in the previous tests. Again, we are saving all the codes made by ChatGPT API for documentation purposes. The difference in this test is that ChatGPT API knows the colors of the LEDs and which GPIO pins they are connected to. Using JSON, we could assist ChatGPT to interpret the instruction without giving it too many detail in the prompt. As a result, we could just tell ChatGPT which color of the LEDs to turn on and turn off. But the code made by ChatGPT API are still unstable, because you can see that ChatGPT API still needs a few failed attempts until it finally completed the task. Or, like the previous test shows, the ChatGPT might do something that is not asked by the user, like turning off the yellow LEDs to turn on the red LEDs and turn off the white LEDs. In the video, we are discussing how might we prevent it from happening again. We want to see if ChatGPT API might need a specific form of instruction. For example, turn on red LEDs and turn off white LEDs without turning off the yellow LEDs. Let's test it. We are asking ChatGPT to turn on red and yellow LEDs. ChatGPT could turn on the red and yellow LEDs as instructed. Now, we ask ChatGPT to turn off the red LEDs and turning on the white LEDs. Right away, ChatGPT could complete the task without failed attempts, but the yellow LEDs is turned off by ChatGPT. Now, we ask ChatGPT to turn off the white LEDs and turn on the red LEDs without turning off the yellow LEDs and see if the instruction works. In the video you can see that even we give ChatGPT specific instruction, the ChatGPT is still turning off the other LEDs that doesn't need to be controlled. However, giving JSON file to the main code to assist ChatGPT interpret and execute the instruction could help minimize the failed attempts it needs to complete the task. We could also give it less detailed prompt, without including very technical details of the components, and the instruction feels more natural for the user.